Guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about, do you need a degree to get a job as a medical coder, and does having a degree help you get a job faster? If you're brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue. I'm a medical coder. Okay, guys, so to answer the first question, no, you do not need a degree in health information technology or health information management in order to get a job as a medical coder. All you need if you want to be a medical coder is a medical coding certification. The CCS, the gold standard of medical coding credentials, the CCA, the Certified Coding Associate, the CCSP, the Certified Coding Specialist Physician Based, or the CPC, the Certified Professional Coder. Any one of these four, you will be able to find a job in medical coding. Is it a fast process to find a job? No. I even said it in that video that they commented on, and this person that had made a comment that inspired today's episode, I'm not going to read the comment because the comment's kind of convoluted the way he wrote it. So the thing about it is, guys, having a degree will not accelerate you getting into a job. The thing that will help you to get a job as a certified medical coder is having knowledge. Now, does it take a few months? Yes, because as I said previously, the time that you spend, or the length of time that you spend looking for a job, is in direct correlation with the quality of your resume. If you do not have a good resume, that is a problem, and that is why you're not getting calls. And again, I said it in that video as well. Now, I'm not trying to push this, but what I am saying is this. The employers are looking at the resume first. They're not meeting you in person. They are looking at the resume first. And if you don't have on there all the things that you were trained in, as far as ICD-10-CM, CPT, HCPCS, ICD-10 PCS, medical terminology, and on and on and on. If you don't have those things on your resume, that's a problem, because again, these are going through an ATS reader. This ATS reader is dumb because it's only looking for things that the person who's programming it is telling it to look for. If you don't have any of those things, it's going to pass you off because it's thinking that you're not qualified, when in fact you are. But if you don't say those things, that's where the buck stops. Now, having a degree is a wonderful thing, but you should only have a degree, like the health information technology degree or the health information management degree. You should only pursue these if you legitimately want to get into leadership. Do not pursue the associate's degree or the bachelor's degree because you want to make more money, because you think you need it. You do not need it. People who have just a medical coding certification have made lots more than somebody who has a degree. I know that for a fact because when I was a CCA, I was still making more money than people who had a degree. So that's something that you need to understand, is that the field of health information is a little weird and it's a little unique when it comes to the education piece. Everybody's education level is different. And when it comes to the degrees, it doesn't mean, oh my gosh, you've mastered medical coding. No, all the degrees are saying is that you can manage people, you can perform data analytics, you can, the legal side, the human resources side of running a department. You understand all of these things. You understand about budgets as well. So that's what those folks do. The people who have the associate's degree or the bachelor's degree, they are the ones that are managing and really taking care of the department. Their role is not to be a coder. Their role is to manage the ship. Okay, that's what it is for. They're managing the ship. They are the captain. And so they are going to steer this boat whichever way they think is going to be positive for their organization. So that's the thing that you have to understand. It will not get you a job faster. I don't know why people think that you have to spend so much money on a degree and you don't even know if you're going to like being a medical coder yet. The fantastic thing about medical coding is that you can be in a job, you can start learning, like from day one, you'll start learning, all right? Because you'll have like the real world stuff. You learn, and then you're building skill. You do not have to stay in the first job that you get. You can move on. You can take that experience. You could be there for 6 months, get your experience, and continue to apply for places that you really want to work, or whatever it is, a specialty that you want to explore more. Whatever you want to do is possible with medical coding. It does not require you to get a degree. Okay. Somebody commented on the video where I was talking about this, and they were saying that they have not been able to get a job in coding because, you know, they have to spend all of this money. You do not have to spend all of this money. I am telling you now that when you look at the job listings, they are asking the person to be certified. Do they say prefer degree? Let's talk about language here, guys. Preferred does not mean required. Preferred does not mean required. Preferred means, hey, if you have this, great. If not, it's okay. Why would they say they prefer a college graduate or somebody who has a degree in health information technology or health information management? Why would they say that? Why would they say we prefer this? Because people who have been through the program have been through formal education for medical terminology, anatomy, and pathophysiology, and all of these other things that are specific to our field. So they're thinking that this person is going to be strong in medical terminology and anatomy and so on and so forth. Is that always the case? Absolutely not. There's people that barely pass and still don't know a lot about medical terminology, and somebody who has just a certification, who went through a program and who has studied and who has practiced and who has gone through all of these things, like I always recommend all of the ways to learn medical terminology, anatomy, and pathophysiology, and still people, I don't know what to do. Come on. It's there. It's in the description box. It's so important for you to understand medical terminology, because a lot of these things are going to make a lot more sense to you. If you're not studying medical terminology and you've completed a program but you barely passed, and you're just out there trying to apply for jobs and you're still wondering why you can't get hired on, why don't you take the time to look at your skill set? Look at your skill set and really judge your own skill set and try to figure out honestly with yourself, am I good at this? No. Let me go to the public library. Let me go check out a book about medical terminology. It does not have to be medical terminology for medical coders. That's just a gimmick. We all use the same medical terminology. Every single doctors, nurses, CNAs, LPNs, LVNs, all of those people, we all use the same medical terminology. So as long as this person, the organization saying, okay, if this person has been to college, that means that they can see something through. That's also what they're looking at as well. So it's not just, okay, well, they've had formal education. Because again, we know that there are places that the education is not so great, but the students are going to make of it what they will. Okay. So that's just something that you have to understand there. If you're making the best of your situation, maybe you're in a fast-paced medical coding program right now and you're saying this program isn't very good, I'm not learning anything. Well, guess what? In the description box of this video, there's a whole syllabus. There's a syllabus and the link to the independent study. But it's the syllabus, it's got all the books that I recommend, the timeline for studying, and that you need to put in those 20 hours per week. It's all right there. So that's what they're saying when they're saying that they prefer somebody with a degree. They just want somebody who's educated. Preferred does not mean required. Now they say, 3 to 5 years experience required. I'm telling you to ignore that part and go ahead and apply anyway. Because guess what? Here's the thing, guys. Again, we're not looking at the skill that we're bringing as brand new coders. Brand new coders do not have bad habits to break. Even veteran coders who have been with the industry for years are sometimes stuck in the same specialty. So sometimes they don't branch out and try to learn more. They're very, okay, I only want to do this specialty. They never give themselves a chance to grow in any of the other specialties, which is really bad for medical coders. You have to be willing to move around as far as like with the specialties that you're coding, so that you can be a well-rounded coder, because you never know. You always want to make sure that you give yourself that opportunity to be able to learn as much as you can. But stepping into this career field, there's no amount of credentials, like a string of credentials. There is no amount of degrees that you can have that will make up for the fact that you don't have knowledge. And it will severely limit you from getting in. So you can have a big, huge conga line of credentials after your name and thinking that, oh yeah, I'm going to get hired on right away because I have all of these credentials. No. If you're anything like, if a hiring manager is anything like me and I see all of this is somebody that's just collecting credentials. Do you know anything about these credentials? People who get the CPMA, for example. Now, I'm not picking on y'all, but some people who get it are brand new with the CPCA. And I've asked them, what are you going to do with the CPMA? I don't know. My teacher told me to get it. So what do you know about auditing that you would ever think that this is a good thing for you? Because not only that, the CPMA requires specialty CEUs in order to maintain it, continuing education units. So don't you think about this. If you're brand new, you've never been in the field before, and you're holding a CPMA, I wouldn't hire this person, because this person is just following the orders of somebody that's telling them, hey, get all these credentials because it's going to make you look good. No, it isn't. You don't look good with multiple credentials if you don't have the experience to back it up. Now, if you've been in the industry for a while and you've got a string of credentials and you're well-rounded, that's something that's different. But if you're brand new, you still running around with the CPCA and you running around with all these credentials, that doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. And it won't get you hired faster. Okay? It's going to show that you like to take tests, but that's about it. Because sometimes taking all those tests, again, it doesn't translate into knowledge and skill for the field. So again, if you're trying to get in right away, I've always recommended that to go ahead and apply, make sure that your resume looks good, it's on one page, doesn't go back more than 10 or 15 years, and you're applying for these places even though they're asking for experience. And you can't pigeonhole yourself either into positions that you think you want, like a remote position. Some of you are like that. You're real steadfast. You want to only work remotely. Well, guys, when you're brand new, you should never work remotely. I will always say that. And yes, while we went through the pandemic and people were able to make it, there's some people that says, well, I worked since the pandemic and I've been at home and I'm doing just fine. Are you really doing fine? Are you really doing fine? Or is it that you don't really know? Because it's possible that you don't know, because you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes you know that you don't know, but sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So how would you know? Say that 5 times fast. But it's true. It's true. I'm not telling you all, oh, y'all are all ignorant. No, I'm not. Far from it. I'm telling you that there are things that you may not be aware of that you should be aware of. Okay? And taking it one step at a time, getting your medical coding certification, arming yourself with a very good resume that is one page and a cover letter that gives that human draw, not a regurgitation of your resume, but a good specific job that is at that organization that you're trying to apply for. And then you're going to start getting those calls, because that's saying that you are specifically looking at that organization. If the ATS reader is automatically rejecting you, I'm going to keep saying this. You need to print out your resume and you need to mail it in to that organization, attention to the HR department, or attention to whoever is saying on there. Okay, you mail it in. You don't take it in, but you mail it in, and so that way it can go to somebody. It's U.S. mail, so it has to go to somebody. It has to be delivered to somebody. And so when they look at it, then you have just said, okay, well, you could say this on your cover letter, I did apply online as per protocol, but I would like to follow up with a paper copy of my resume. Do you know, I would be on the phone calling that person and scheduling them for an interview because you thought outside the box. Because when people apply to these jobs, this is something y'all need to listen up, okay? When y'all are applying for these jobs and it automatically gives you that garbage letter, oh, well, we, they're going to pass you over, whatever, right? Okay, but your resume is still on file. The ATS reader has just weeded it out to say this person is not qualified. Why? Because you, again, don't have what's needed on your resume. Your resume is too long. Something's wrong with it. That's the thing you have to understand. But it's still on file because it's not unheard of for people to say, well, it was 5 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, I applied with this job and they're asking me, do I want to come in for an interview? Well, they're doing that because all the people that they say they wanted with 1,000 years of experience, they're not out there. This unicorn person that they're looking for is not out there. So now they have to see who's in front of them, who actually applied. And so that's why you would go and have your resume already on file, or you will have already made that connection with that person and to say, well, here's my resume through the mail. Okay. So that's what you can do. But again, running around like this saying that, oh, I didn't get a job and I have to spend $3,500 more to get a RHI certificate. I don't even know what RHI is. It's either RHIT or RHIA. It's not RHI. Okay. So that's something that, again, people that run around and are not focused like they're supposed to be intentional when you're applying for jobs. And you're not just looking on Indeed. You're actually going to your association. The associations, both of them, the American Health Information Management Association and the American Academy of Professional Coders, both have online job banks that you can peruse when you're a member. And that's how you can start to, look at jobs and things like that and people that are legitimately hiring, not this garbage that you see out there. Excuse me. Sometimes you'll see that on LinkedIn, right? These fake job listings, which are ridiculous. And that irritates me. It's like, well, what are you doing with your life that you got time to be targeting people who are vulnerable without a job? Get out of here. It's just irritating to me. But, but like I said, go to the association websites. They have their job boards and their job listings. Go there and start applying. But make sure your resume looks good, okay? Make sure that when you are sending out your resume that it has your credential on it next to your name. Because, again, if I have to sit here and look through your resume like an Easter egg hunt for your credential, I'm not going to want to hire you either. And you're getting judged like that on that one page in 5-10 seconds or less. You can go on Instagram and you can just Google these HR folks and they'll tell you. They got about 5 or 10 seconds to look at your resume. And if it's not catching their attention by being clean and to the point and not being a lot of things that are redundant and just being very concise, that's going to save you from all these rejections. If you are concise, if you are to the point, that's what's going to help you get a job a lot faster. And you're not going to be wasting time. Okay. So like I said, try to get into these coding adjacent positions, the medical biller. Okay. You can start there. You don't have to stay there, but just start. Just something to get you going. Apply with the temp agency. If you Google temporary agencies for medical professionals. Hear me, please. Temporary agencies for medical professionals. Because somebody told me, well, I looked up for medical coders and there wasn't anything. I didn't say medical coders. I said medical professionals. Because that's a general statement. And a lot of times that's what these temp agencies are listed under. Okay. And so then you can look and see what positions they have. Getting a temp job, while it may not be your first choice, it wasn't my first choice, but that was how I got my first job, and that was how I got my second job, which got me to my forever home. So again, just Google it in your area, temporary agencies for medical professionals. Even if it's a short assignment, somebody may be on maternity leave or paternity leave, and they need somebody to come in and fill in while that person's out, that temp agency is going to give you an assessment test, and you take that assessment test, okay, and then if you do well, they're going to set you up with whatever they find, but at least getting some kind of traction by going to a temp agency, at least to get you going, that's what's going to help you. Again, you may need benefits and all these things, but that will show up eventually, and a lot sooner than you think, really. But sometimes you have to start with a temp agency, and then that's how you get hired on. That's just the way that it is. But again, you're going to bypass all that riffraff, and these people are going to need somebody. And sometimes these temp agencies, they compete for contracts where you can get experience in coding, basically going through contracts. It's like a contract coder. So you have to do so many encounters, and they contract so many people to do that, and that's what you end up doing. You start working with whatever they need help on, like backlog or whatever, and so that may be a way for you to get started. That's going to be a little bit less pressure, and again, it's a great place to start. I did it, so there. And what is it, prior authorizations, that's the other one. Charge entry. Now, charge entry is not going to be coding, but it is going to give you exposure to the codes, and it's going to give you exposure to the electronic health record. And again, that's what's going to help you to get in. Don't look at it as a all or nothing. This person that commented this, I can kind of tell that they're an all or nothing. They want all or nothing, and you can't do that. Sometimes our journey and where we start does not look like we think it will look. Sometimes our journey and where we start does not always look like we think it will look, okay? So just keep that in mind, and sometimes you just have to go with it. And just because you get a job does not mean that you have to stop looking, okay? If you want to stop looking for a while because you found a job, or you found something to get you started, that's great, but if you want to keep applying, guys. There's no hard feelings. It's business. They will find somebody else. You don't have to stay there. But as I've said in my previous videos, do not go into a position that is not going to utilize your skill, even though it's not what you want to start in. But don't do something. What I mean by it may not be what you want to start in, like in these coding adjacent positions. But don't get into something like patient access. Patient access, I'm going to advocate all the time for y'all not to do that. Because again, it's a front desk position. It is a front desk position that will not use your skill. And I don't care if you say, well, that's how I got my start. Well, good for you. But I'm talking to these other people that need a place where they can start and use their skill right away so that they don't end up losing their skill. I just want y'all to be successful finding jobs. I don't want y'all to have to spend all this money like you think you need to. Because no, you do not need a degree to get a job in coding. And for those of you who will tell me, oh, but at my facility, we only hire college graduates. I know that's a lie, because I've seen plenty of them say that they're willing to accept people who have the CCA, CCS, CCSP, or the CPC, or a college degree. So I'm just saying, with that said, yes, I'm very direct. Yes, I probably repeated myself 100 times already. But I again, guys, this is stuff that's already been covered so many times on my channel. And these are the comments that keep coming up. And it's not like it's from the same person. These are from different people asking the same question over and over again. So I'm like, are my videos helping? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it, But I'm just saying that you can find a job with just a medical coding certification. Sometimes it takes a while. Depends on how many times you're applying, where you're applying, what your resume looks like. It's not impossible. I did it, and countless others have done it too. But you just can't give up. You just have to be persistent. Okay, this is one of those things that you absolutely have to be persistent at. I'm just saying. So with that said, I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.